Hi, I'm Vicki Dorr. I am a medical oncologist and hematologist, and I work at the Christian Hospital Northeast, which is part of the Barnes Jewish Christian Hospital System here in St. Louis. I started, of course, my career in the Parkway School District, which is why I'm here, and I had a wonderful education through the Parkway School System. I went to Claymont Elementary, Parkway West Junior, and Parkway West Senior High School. Had a wonderful education, and then went on to the University of Missouri in Kansas City, which is a 6-year medical school straight out of high school, and got my MD degree there. Then went to the University of Kansas, where I did my internship and residency in internal medicine, and then also went on to become a medical oncologist and hematologist. From there, I went back to the rival school, which was the University of Missouri-Columbia, Mizzou, and actually taught there for 5 years. Before I had 2 kids and decided to come home and have free babysitting care from mom and dad here in St. Louis. I've been back in St. Louis for about 10 years. I work in private practice. I work up in North County. Having been through the Parkway school system, all I can say is that it is a fabulous opportunity as far as education is concerned. When I went to the University of Missouri in Kansas City, of course, we had people who came from all walks of life. They came from many different parts of the state of Missouri. Many of them were both from public and private schools, and I would say that overall those students who were from the Parkway school system really had a hand up in terms of actually getting on with the advanced education. Even some of the first classes in the chemistry and the biology was actually somewhat of a step down from what they taught in the high school system. So it really gave us a good opportunity, a good backbone to go on as far as medicine is concerned. When I was at the Parkway High School, I had one favorite teacher. Actually, I had quite a few favorite teachers, but one who stands out, Mr. Ribbing, who was actually my Latin teacher for 3 years. And Latin was a fantastic class because it was a class where all 3 grades were together. And in addition to that, we were always in the same classroom. So I knew those students forever, knew the teachers the whole time frame, and really became a very good support system, not just from an education standpoint, but also from a social standpoint. And Mr. Ribbing also was my English teacher, both in 10th grade and again in 12th grade. So I had a lot of experience with him, and his favorite thing to say was, "You are responsible for your own education." And that is probably one of the most important things that anybody can actually give you is education. And it is really not your parents, it's not your teachers, it is for you. So you need to take from your education what you can to basically make your life go on. And every time I think about something that is difficult, if it's a difficult patient, a difficult case with the insurance companies, the government not letting me do something, I always think I am responsible. And so I write letters to the governors, I write letters to insurance companies to basically get things done, because it is that responsibility that is actually one of the most important things that you can actually take on from your education as well. Also, in my Latin class, there was a student. He was actually one of my classmates, and he was a fantastic guy, a good friend, and actually right at the time of graduation from high school, he got a brain tumor. So what I knew is when we were going on to college, I was going to medical school and he was going to the University of Indiana. They called and said that he had had a seizure and was not going to be able to start school right away. They had found this brain tumor. I had a lot of medicine background when I went into medicine. I was only 17 going to medical school, and I had worked for my uncle, who was an ophthalmologist and eye doctor, and I actually thought, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to medical school and become an ophthalmologist. Well, basically, my friend Chris Reed changed everything, because I was so interested to know, what is a brain tumor? How do you fix a brain tumor? What can be done to fix a brain tumor? That I actually decided to go into medical oncology. Our first month in medicine is an interesting experience at the University of Missouri in Kansas City. It's different than any other school. You actually have to work as a nurse's aide. And when you're doing nursing aide stuff, that means you get to empty bedpans. You get to basically change beds themselves, so it's not the very glamorous portion of medicine that you see advertised on TV all the time. And one of the patients had breast cancer. and it was a horrifying kind of breast cancer. It wasn't the typical kind of breast cancer where it's just a mass. This was a flesh-eating breast cancer. It actually had taken the entire breast off as well as the chest wall. You could actually look into the hole and see the heart and the lungs. And of course the nurses and students, they thought, well, let's see what we can do with a brand new med student, see if they can get her sick. And so that was my very first patient. In the 1980s, when I started in medicine, letting people have pain medicine was not always possible. They were concerned about people becoming addicts to pain medication. So they actually wouldn't let these patients have any pain medicine. And my job, my first day, was to basically hold her hand, talk to her, and comfort her, and basically try and take her mind off of the cancer. And I wasn't very good at it, but it did help to know that I was there, I think. But about 12 hours before she passed away, because she did die, she said to me, she said, "This is amazing," she said. "I have no pain all of a sudden." And she said, "And do you see these ghosts right here?" And they were people who she knew. It was her mother. It was people who had passed on before, who said to her, "Don't be afraid that there is something to look forward to." And she basically said to me, "You need to know that when we go forward on in life, that there is no pain, there is no suffering, and I am whole again." And while she was able to talk to me, she was also able to talk to people who had already gone on. So I figured that was my calling, that I should probably stick with oncology and cancer medicine. And so from then on, I decided that I was going to devote my life to cancer medicine. And so that's basically how I got to where I am today as far as taking care of cancer patients. But it is an ongoing battle. So in fact, actually, when they called and said you've been inducted into the Hall of Fame, I don't know how many people get those little emails that say that your Nigerian long-lost relative has basically left you $12 billion if you would just tell them your name and address and phone number and bank account number. I thought that this was the same thing. I thought that it was some kind of a scam, that there must be something wrong, because I was still in the middle of the battle. I was the general. I was in the basically doing all this. How could I possibly be being awarded for something that I still haven't completely fixed? But my staff convinced me that you guys were not Nigerian long-lost relatives, and thus I am here. So I'm very, very grateful to be inducted into the Alumni Hall of Fame. What I have learned is it seems like everything happens for a purpose. So although I'm not done with my fight as far as cancer, perhaps my being here may remind somebody to go get their annual pap smear or their annual mammogram done. It may remind somebody that medicine is an incredibly worthwhile profession. Whether or not we get paid by the insurance companies, it is certainly a wonderful profession in terms of the rewards that you get back from it. And I'm hoping that maybe by being here, somebody will want to go into medicine. Maybe somebody will continue to basically go forward in terms of what can we do to actually continue to understand the human body, understand why cancer occurs and how to fix it. And so again, once again, thank you for nominating me, and I'm glad to be here.